Look at this photo. Now pay a bit more attention to the trousers and the line of rainwater straight down the middle. That is a sure sign of a misty mountaintop walk that's been done through the joy of some sideways rain. This was the final mountaintop that we were doing after a week of walking, so our legs were already toast, and as we looked up the path through some pretty unpleasant weather conditions, I was pretty much ready to call it a day and cut the walk short and head back to the car. Luckily, the friend who I was with, Stu, is actually a real grown-up, so we knuckled down and up to the summit we went. After getting back into proper mountain walking about 18 months or so ago, I've been repeatedly battered by the weather conditions and worn out in the legs well beyond a point of comfort. So luckily, as we were heading up that miserable looking track, I knew that within a few days I'd be looking back at it as a funny story of two English chaps who travelled hundreds of miles from home to voluntarily be stood there getting absolutely roasted by the weather. But you know what? In the usual way these things go, within about half an hour of touching the summit in those weather conditions, the weather had brightened, we were making our final descent to the car, literally warming up and drying as we went, and it was already a funny story and another little ridiculous moment of us being blustered around in the weather conditions to add to the many countless dozens of these little moments in our walking career. And by the time we'd actually got back to the car, I'd go as far as to say it was, if not a little tiny point of pride, certainly a good point of satisfaction that we had just knuckled down, got on with it, and it was done. Another final mountaintop for our week walking the Scottish Highlands. Now, this may sound a little silly to some of you out there, but I genuinely feel like I've taken some of the experiences and lessons learned about just cracking on, getting your head down and getting things done from these moments up on top of the hills where I've been soaked through, absolutely freezing, or I've walked beyond the point of what I think my legs have got, but I've still got 10 miles left to go. And I fetched that sort of mindset of, right, let's just get it done, and then you can at least say, well, it's done. And I've brought that back to my day-to-day life. And it's something that I think originally it started as a bit of a tongue-in-cheek sort of parody of a motivational thing that people would say or that internet gurus would tell you to do. But I started calling this moment of, right, I've got all this stuff that needs doing, I'm going to get it done. I would refer to this as the mountain mindset. And it's something that I think probably drove my girlfriend mad that I created this term for just being productive, basically. But over time, in this last 12 months, the idea of the mountain mindset, I swear, has gone from being a parody sort of tongue-in-cheek term to being a genuine motivational, and I suppose more than motivation, a tool of discipline that I sort of say to myself, right, oh, I've got all this stuff needs to know, that needs putting together, this, all the things that need doing, sometimes will become overwhelming and I'll be like, right, we need the mountain mindset here. And then I just sit down and crack on for hours with odd jobs or whatever it is that needs doing. I suppose that's my only little message in this video, is that having lived an absolutely blessed life and made it to my late 30s without any real hardships or terrible circumstances, these little moments of adversity certainly help to build up a certain level of resilience. And when I look at the younger generation coming up now who are basically living via screens, and the idea of anything being harder than a couple of taps seems like an absolute shock to the system, it does make me worry and wonder. And more so when I look at people from my own generation and above who grew up without the internet, being also sort of brought down and fetched into this hunched up creature where the screen and its life-giving glow rules all. I don't know, I feel like there could be a lot of benefit for a lot of people going outside.